Well, you hear so much these days about the cloud, and all your data is stored in the cloud somewhere. Well, what is that exactly? Well, in reality, your information is stored all over the country, as is everybody else's, in data centers. We don't know much about them, and you probably should if you'd like to hang on to your information and control it a little bit better. Joining us this morning is the guy that knows all about them. John Kovach is the global head of data centers for Siemens. Good morning, John.
Good morning, Mark. How are you?
Oh, wonderful. First off, data centers. I mean, kind of describe what they are to people, because, again, most people just know their information's out there somewhere, but they don't know where.
Yeah, absolutely. Data center could be actually a number of different facilities. It could be a room, it could be a floor of a building, or it could be a facility that's larger than a football field. And in these massive facilities, you'll find rows and rows and racks of computer servers and all the equipment that's utilized in these facilities. And then the data that we use on a day-to-day basis is stored on those servers.
So kind of just talk about how then those data centers affect consumers and how we're interacting with them, because just about every time you jump on your computer, I'm thinking you're probably connecting with a data center someplace.
You're absolutely right. In fact, a lot of the ways that you don't think about, obviously when you send an email or a text, you can kind of figure out that's going to go to a data center somewhere or have data that's utilized. But what about when you paid for your morning coffee with your debit card? That's going to a data center as well. So we really touch it all the time. If I go to the doctor and they take an x-ray, they're going to store that record digitally, and that record's going to be stored on a server at a data center somewhere.
I mean, it's you start to think about it, it's almost mind-boggling when you think that every one of us has all this information stored, and then there's millions of us. So it's got to be a lot of energy being used here. So I'm kind of guessing that maybe one of the reasons we're talking today is Siemens has something to do with energy efficiency here in this case.
Absolutely. Data centers consume nearly 2% of all the power that's utilized in the U.S.
Wow.
So energy efficiency is a big deal. If you've ever used a laptop and your lap gets hot, well, those IT assets and those servers get hot the same way, and they need to be cooled. And cooling is about half the cost of a typical data center. So energy efficiency is a big deal, and Siemens does a lot of things to first safely distribute power around the facility, using building management systems, fire and life safety and security to make sure that the facility runs and is as secure and safe as possible.
Yeah, and talk to me about the challenges of keeping it safe and secure.
Well, actually it starts at the physical security side. There's, if you went to one of these facilities, you'd be shocked that there's no name up. There's typically no windows on the facility. There's a fence and a guard. But the technology that's inside of them, it can be really quite sophisticated that you'd expect it to see in the latest James Bond or Mission Impossible movie. Iris scanners, biometric identification, to make sure that even the people that work in the data center, the only people that have access to those computers on the floor are those that absolutely have to have access to that. So it's amazing the amount of technology that's involved in protecting our technology.
Man, it is mind-boggling. Well, thanks for the insight, John. That's really interesting. John Kovach with Siemens. And if folks want more information, can we send them someplace?
Sure. You could go to usa.siemens.com/data centers.
Very good. All right, John, thank you so much.
Thanks, Mark.
All right, take care. All right.